Good morning. I'm still reporting on the coup. According to a news show on Lindell TV called The Absolute Truth with Emerald Robinson, a lady named Texas Lindsay says a member of Julian Assange's team recently confirmed to her that Seth Rich was the person who leaked the DNC emails to Wikileaks just prior to his murder in the wee hours of July 10th, 2016.
Lindsay, real quick, we have 30 seconds. I know you have some information on Seth Rich. That's moving forward, getting access to that. Tell us what you know, because we're going to talk more about it in the show tomorrow.
Yeah, so I've been in touch with someone that directly worked with Julian Assange, was part of their team, and they confided in me that it was Seth Rich that leaked the DNC information, which completely contradicts the Mueller report, which said it was a Russian hacker leak. Yeah. And the murder of Seth Rich has never been solved. They tried to say that it was a robbery, but nothing on his person, as far as I'm aware, was stolen. He still had his wallet intact. So none of that made sense. It's never been solved. And now this judge is pushing back on the FBI to release all the pages that they did not release last year when he demanded it. So
the case has been the linchpin for the mainstream media's pro-Hillary Clinton assault on conservative media outlets for the last 7 years, which she dubbed right-wing conspiracy theories. According to the Wikipedia entry on the murder of Seth Rich, the Mueller report, the Washington Post, the Los Angeles Times, and the New York Times all claim that the theory that Seth Rich had anything to do with the massive leak of damaging DNC emails was an example of fake news. In addition, a July 2018 indictment of 12 Russian military intelligence agents for doing the hack of DNC emails was yet another example of Russian election interference against Hillary Clinton, which directly benefited then presidential candidate Donald Trump. However, the only evidence the U.S. government has produced to support these Russian indictments has been destroyed by an analysis by Bill Binney, the former technical director of the National Security Agency, who discovered two problems with the authenticity of the government's evidence. Number one, that the timestamp of the provided transmissions, hidden deep in the metadata, proves that the hack did not come from Russia, but from the Eastern Time Zone, the one which Washington, D.C. is in, and not from any time zone in Russia. Secondly, an analysis of the transmission speed of the data out of the DNC servers was far beyond any available in Washington, D.C. in 2016, and therefore the only explanation for the source of the data dump from the DNC servers was from the insertion of a USB flash drive from within the DNC's data center in Washington, D.C. Access to that data center, as in all data centers in all major enterprises, is tightly controlled. And the manager of the DNC data center was, guess who? Seth Rich. In addition, the few people who had access to that data center would all show up in the data center logs, and the DNC has never produced those logs because they don't want to admit that the hack came from Seth Rich. They want you to believe that the Russians just made it up. Consequently, there is no doubt in this reporter's analysis that it was Seth Rich who downloaded the data dump out of the DNC servers. Why? What was his motive? Because he was a supporter of Bernie Sanders, the senior U.S. Senator from Vermont, who was narrowly beaten that year for the Democrat nomination in 2016 by Hillary Clinton. Seth Rich believed, as did many Bernie Sanders supporters, that in that race Hillary Clinton had cheated Sanders out of the nomination by using the Democrats' superdelegates. Evidence of all of this would have been on Seth Rich's laptop, which was the only thing missing after his murder. The FBI now has admitted that it took possession of that laptop, but has resisted all attempts to have investigators look at its contents. The Epoch Times reported over 4 years later, on December 11, 2020, on a response from Assistant U.S. Attorney Andrea Parker to Attorney Ty Clevenger, who represented the plaintiff in the FOIA request filed by Brad Huddleston, known as Huddleston versus Federal Bureau of Investigation, states concerning access to Seth Rich's laptop, the FBI has completed the initial search identifying approximately 50 cross-reference serials with attachments totaling over 20,000 pages in which Seth Rich is mentioned. The Bureau is currently working on getting the files from Seth Rich's personal laptop into a format to be reviewed. The FBI told the plaintiff in June that it would take 8 to 10 months to provide a final response to the request. Remember, this was December 2020. The FBI works very slowly in some cases. According to the Epoch Times report in December 2020, less than 2 weeks after Richard's murder, Wikileaks released a collection of thousands of internal emails and documents taken from the DNC servers. Almost 1 month after Rich's murder, Wikileaks offered $20,000 for information about Rich's murder. The D.C. Metro Police offered a reward of $25,000. WikiLeaks increased the reward to $130,000 in January of 2017. In the weeks following the murder, the D.C. police tried to claim that the motive for Rich's death was robbery, which was a growing concern for that neighborhood. However, Seth had hard cash and credit cards in his wallet, which were not taken. He wore a very expensive gold watch and gold necklace easily visible to any robber. Consequently, the motive was not robbery, but a paid hit. I'm still reporting from just outside the citadel of world freedom. Good day.